Hey, what's up? We're back with something a little different, but kind of the same. How you doing? What's going on? I still feel good. Magical. Cats riding unicorns. How can you not be in a good mood? What's different? This is live. Woo, with a live band. Yay. And a song I know, Dream Little Dream, which it's funny how memories stay in your head. I first found out about this song when I saw the movie Dream a Little Dream of Me as a rerun on HBO. And this song is the name of the movie, and it's also at the ending credits. And I was like, that song's pretty cool. And here we are. Hey, there's a cat who wants my attention. Let's see if we can ignore her for a couple of minutes.
Neste sang heter Dream a Little Dream of Me fra Ella Fitzgerald.
Oh, so just trio? It's just a trio? Guitar, bass, and drums? Ooh. That's like a dangerous setup. I love it. But it's like, you can't make no mistakes.
Stars shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Birds singing in the sycamore tree. Dream a little dream of me.
Oh, hell yeah.
Say nighty night and kiss me. Just hold me tight and tell me, do you miss me? While I'm alone and blue as can be. Dream a little dream of me. Stars fading, but I linger on dear. Still craving on your kiss. I'm longing to linger till down, dear. Just staying there.
Man, all right, hey, let's talk about it. One thing that's kind of awesome is how her attire, right? And then the band and the background, it seems like almost everything's from like a different time period. Like, I feel like you just listen to the music, man, I don't even know where you are, the 50s, 40s? Don't know. Somewhere back there, way back into time. But her outfit is like 70s, but modern. But the sitting in the nature, it's just a weird everything going together. I'm loving it, but it's also like, this very much reminds me of small lounges. Like, I'm even saying the word lounge because of the music. If it wasn't the music, I'd call it a bar or a club. But it's like, I remember hearing music like this or playing music like this, which I did not play much in this style with the trio setting. It's really rare that I've done that. But it's happened, and you remember it. Usually for an audience of like 10 to 30 people, maybe. Very small. And it's got that very small feel, which is crazy with that nature background against it. But kudos to the backing band. Bass player super prominent. Timekeeping being kept, I would say, on the hi-hat. And the guitar player is actually a little shocking to me how interesting he's playing. He's not doing, typically you'd have someone kind of just strumming quarter notes. Maybe if you want to relax it, half notes. But instead, he's kind of playing back, and he'll come forward with something and then stay back. But even when he comes forward, he's still back. I would say of the three people, the guitarist is way in the back. He's almost like the strings you would hear on some of her other arrangements. But her phrasing, not just her phrasing, but really capturing, I wish I knew my jazz time periods better. But she reminds me of a very actually singing as if it was black and white, and she was like 50 or 40 or something.
Dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that lead our worries behind you. But in your dreams, whatever they'll be, dream a little dream of me.
Oh, that's tasty. That's a very tasty solo. I have not heard enough versions of this in the past to remember if he's lifting. That's a fancy word for stealing. If he's lifting the solo. Either way, it's a great solo, and what he's really doing impeccably well is instead of playing a scale across the chord changes, like what key are we in, or what key are these two chords in, and you kind of think higher level so you don't have to make so many decisions and choices, but he's actually playing chord to chord, which to me is the most difficult way to do it, and I'm pretty lazy about that, because like you need to be thinking all the time, like where are we? What's next chord? How do I emphasize that? Very tasty, very traditional jazz solo. A little out of the box in the back end. Dude, that's a solid solo. Notice how I did not say fracking in there. That's a really tasty solo. It doesn't have, maybe the pop and the energy we're used to in the last 30 years, but that is a absolutely killer solo, doing everything it needs to do. Got some pop in there, got a little bit of push, but not enough that would change the essence of the song, and just nailing the chord changes, and got a little outside the box and back in, outside, back in. I think that's a perfect guitar solo for this type of music and this setting and the singer we've got. Really good job.
Stars fading, but I linger on dear.
Oh, since we're talking about the guitar player, might as well talk about the bass player for a second. Not talking about the bass player. And this is one of those sad jokes, but it's a true joke. If you don't mention the bass player, it means the bass player is killing it. Because in this type of a song, you only really notice the bass player if he messes up. So it's like the fact that we're not talking about the bass player means the bass player is also doing a super excellent job. Maybe the best job out of the band members. Because he's got the loudest sound, but you're never really listening to him. Occasionally, in between lines, you might be listening to him. So the fact that you're not thinking about the bass player, it shows you what a great job he's doing. Same can be said for the drums, but the drum part is a little easier. I'm not a really good drummer, played some drums. It's not really... Same thing. Let's not notice you. You're in the background. But yeah. Let's get all the comments out. Let's get them all out. They're all out right now. She is sounding wonderful, sounding lovely, and someone's comment the other day, and I'm only addressing this comment because I think it's an idea people might have, and I just want to make it clear it's not like a big deal. When I was listening to that one song, the Queen song, and I said, to me, she doesn't sound like Angelina. Right? Someone's like, well, it is Angelina, so who else could it sound like? And sometimes you'll say she's like the girl of 1,000 voices. Well, if you're doing an accurate representation of an impression, you don't sound like yourself, right? If I were to do an Elvis Presley impression and it sound like Elvis, then I wouldn't sound like me. I would sound like Elvis. And you do have the intermediate phase where do I sound like me pretending to be Elvis? But she has so many varieties in her vocal style that sometimes she doesn't sound like Angelina pretending to be someone. She kind of sounds more like that person. So this is another one of those where I think she sounds. I don't want to say Etta because I don't even know what I'm talking about. I think that was in the description or something, or she said it earlier. But she does sound more like another human being than her. That's a compliment. That's not a negative. That's a crazy ability to be able to transform your sound, be it whatever instrument, vocals, whatever, to transform it to such a level that there's very little. There's a little bit, but there's not a whole lot of your underlying thing. Man, whatever way I say this, if you're negative, you're gonna take it negative. If you're positive, you're gonna take it positive. That's all I can say about that.
I'm longing to linger till down here, just saying this. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave all worries behind you. And your dreams whenever there be. Dream a little dream of me.
Got a little cold right at the end. Man, this is a very, very shocking arrangement. It's really, it's so sparse. I actually think you could do, or they could do. It's them playing, right? So like, but I bet if I was just like, hey, why don't you do this? I bet you would be shocked how close it sounds. I bet it could just be her, the bass player, and the drummer's hi-hat. Of course, you got to cut the guitar solo. There's no guitar, so you can't take a solo. But I bet it could just be bass and a hi-hat and her. And I think it would be surprising how close just that is to this entire arrangement. This arrangement is extremely sparse. Kudos to the guitar player as far as, I mean, you never know what decisions were made by who. That doesn't matter. You still have to execute. You still have to have the overall vision. Everyone's got to work together. But to have just 3 instruments and the guitar be non-existent for the majority of the tune really means you just have 2 instruments. And out of the drums, what do you really hear? I don't even know if I noticed the bass drum. I guess I didn't. Maybe he played the bass drum in there. Don't know. He's got the little brushes, Cat. Thanks for helping me. Brushes on the snare, which adds a little variety, but it's very low. And then he uses the brushes on the cymbal. Not you. I'm not actually summoning you as a joke. You didn't actually tell me. You don't have to get up. It's really the hi-hat. Bass, hi-hat, her vocals, not in that order. In order, her voice, 2, the bass, 3, the hi-hat. Okay, I think that was good. Also, like my light's flickering because now my cat is rubbing against things that are plugged in. Show me you're alive. You're like a hostage victim. I have to show people that you're still alive. That I'm not. Look, she's not starved. She's not dying. She's just dramatic. Look, you're very safe. You're ridiculous. You're as bad as me. Probably because I raised you. I'm out.